Hey everyone, thanks for watching another edition of Prep Football Tonight, sponsored by National Scouting Report. Now, we have a big game coming up in the Tubetown Rivalry Series this Friday night, and yet another Tubetown first. Now this week, we'll be just a couple of miles down the road from the Tubetown studios at Cooksey-John Stadium, home of the Jonesboro Hurricanes. The Hurricanes will host the 2-0 Catholic Rockets out of Little Rock. Now this will be the first game of the year for the Hurricanes in their home stadium. So I hope Catholic is ready for a Cooksey-John's storm.
Speaking of firsts, this will be the first live broadcast for Tubetown covering Jonesboro High and being in Cooksey-John Stadium. So this is an exciting week for us. We are already into week 5 of the Tubetown Rivalry Series, and we've seen some great teams. We've also seen some great viewership numbers thanks to you guys. Through 4 games in the Tubetown Rivalry Series, we've had over 7,000 views on our YouTube and Facebook pages. And we want that to continue. Remember to spread the word about the Tubetown YouTube page and the Facebook page. And don't miss the live games on Friday nights, plus all of the replays that are archived on YouTube, plus our live on the field pregame and postgame shows on Facebook Live. You've got to tune in.
So this is a great time to remind you that if you or anyone you know would like to be a sponsor, contact us at 870-336-2318 or email us, tubetown@rittercommunications.com, or contact us on social media. Now, this is a great opportunity for you to get your business name in front of thousands of viewers. Now, as far as our game from last Friday night, it was our first look at the Brighton Cardinals, and Covington wanted to spoil that watch party. If you didn't see the game live and you haven't had a chance to watch the replay on YouTube, I'll let the highlights do the talking. Drop it.
5 down linemen coming for the Cardinals, and they ran it up the middle, fooled everybody.
It is Gant. He's gone.
Gant trying to get past the defenders. Here on the near side, there'll be a handoff running to the left. Oh, a shoestring tackle missed. Then they chase him down as he crosses the 50-yard line, and they still scoreless here tonight in 2017. Handoff running to the right with Page. Page with blockers out ahead of him. Can he make it to the pylon? Couldn't quite make it, brought down. Turn around, handoff to Gant. Gant will ease his way into the end zone. Receiver set. And again, it's West on the handoff up the middle. Through traffic, hurdles over one defender, and right into the arm and to the play. Low snap, Jackson can't find it. He's smothered by the defense. Ball is still loose, and the Chargers say they... The backfield, Glass lined up on the left. They're going to fake the handoff to Page. Toss it over the middle at the goal line. Caught in the end zone. Touchdown. And 10, he's all alone in the backfield. Austin lined up here on the near side. He's going to run a slant, but Jackson's looking the other way. Throwing it deep down the field. Picked off. Right at the 5-yard line. Going back the other way. It's Brock Lomax running down the far sideline. He's going to take a step out of bounds at 5.
Another bad snap.
Chasing the football, neither one of them can get it. The Chargers fall on top of it. A little bit of a wishbone backfield right now for Lomax. Hand off to Page, running to his left. Stutter step in the backfield, now he cuts back to his right. Lost the football, picked up by the Cardinals. They've got a convoy headed down the far sideline. A couple of people left to beat for the Chargers.
Lomax is going to be the only one to beat.
Then at the 15. Winfrey trying to drag him down, and he does just at the... Oh, another low snap. West is going to pick it up.
Oh, this is... Wow.
Not going to punt it away. They're going to go for it. 4th and goal. They're just going to Hail Mary down the field. Caught at the 15. Oh, big time hit. Winfrey lined up on the far side. Lomax will hand it off up the middle to Gant. Gant bursts through the middle. He's at the 35, the 40, cuts back to the middle of the field at the hash marks. He's at the 45-yard, lined up in the backfield. 2nd and goal coming up. Lomax, I think, kept it himself.
Just trying to spring receivers open right now.
Running to his right, now he's running to his left. Jackson looking for somebody to throw to. Got a man at the 40, and a jump.
Jackson to throw the ball to him.
1st and 10 now from almost midfield, backpedaling, fires over the middle, diving, it's picked off right at the 50, perhaps. Hand off to Gant. Gant running up the middle, big hole, he's going to score again. His 2nd touchdown of the...
Covington bounced back after a loss in Week 1 to Mumford of the Tubetown Rivalry Series and ran all over Brighton. The Chargers finished with 378 yards to the Cardinals' 109. Keyshawn Gant did work with 29 carries for 149 yards and 2 TDs, while Brock Lomax also scored 2 TDs of his own, one through the air and one on the ground. And then there's Cordarius Page, who finished things off with 18 carries of his own for 108 yards. Complete shutout by the Chargers. And it doesn't get any easier for Brighton as they travel to play 3-1 Kirby this week, while Covington has a tough road test against 3-1 Milan.
Now let's take a moment to catch up with Larry Perrin of National Scouting Report. We wanted to get his take on a couple of big Tennessee scores from last week, and also his hot take on the Tubetown rivalry series game this week, Catholic at Jonesboro. Here's National Scouting Report's Larry Perrin.
Of course, last weekend started out with us having to deal with Hurricane Irma. I had several scouts in the South Florida region that were affected by this, several NSR athletes down there that were affected by this and their families. And, you know, of course, we play a game, and that game is football. But it's not the game of life. And the game of life takes precedence over that. So kudos to these Florida schools and all these administrators at the schools on making the decisions to cancel games and do that sort of stuff, just for the safety of the families. I'm pretty sure with all the reports we've gotten back, all of our athletes and families fared pretty well. You know, no injuries or anything, but they had some property damage, but that can be replaced. And same thing with our scouts in that area. We had several scouts that suffered some pretty significant property damage, but they have a great attitude. Their communities are pitching in with one another and helping out. You know, the flood victims up in the Jacksonville area. It's an amazing outpouring of community involvement in helping get people took care of in that region. And then, of course, the people down in the Sarasota, Tampa, Cape Coral area down there where the hurricane actually came on land. So, you know, we got the effects of it up here in central Alabama Wednesday, you know, and we had some high winds and we had a lot of rain. So that I can only imagine what it was like to deal with when it was coming straight off the ocean. But like I said, you know, no injuries, no loss of lives with regard to any NSR people. Some property damage, but everybody's safe, and that's all that matters. Man, how about Mumford? The Cougars are rolling. They put up 70 this week. For you know, it was against a lesser opponent, and you know, Coach Markle told me he wanted to get some young kids in the game. So they got up early and they played a lot of kids. You know, Mumford's got a huge roster and they got to play a bunch of them. Again, just to update you, our TJ Scott and that offensive and defensive line, man, they are unreal this year. They are moving people out of the way. You know, Cole Edgerton was slated not to play much in that game, but he had to play a bunch before it turned out. So, really proud of Cole, and both of these boys this weekend are going to get to start fulfilling some of their lifelong dreams. They're going to start going on visits to game day visits to colleges, and this is when this gets fun for these young people. How about that Lausanne Whitehaven deal? You know, I didn't see that one coming. Lausanne is stepping up and playing some serious ball and beating the big boys. And when you beat Whitehaven, you beat the best in the state. It's pretty good job on their part. You know, I have to find out from Coach Salisbury how the wheels just actually came off for Whitehaven's. But you know, and then the game of the week, of course, Covington and Brighton. I really kind of figured it would be like this. Covington just had too many horses. They were able to move the ball at will. Brighton couldn't stop them. Brighton is so young this year. They're playing so many sophomores. It's just tough. But you look for them to rebound. Next 2 years, they're fixing to be awesome. But they were just outmanned this week. You know, we want to talk a little bit about Jonesboro. Jonesboro, ran up against a buzzsaw with Conway and the Wampus Cats. And they kind of took one on the chin a little bit. And if you look at Conway and you look at Jonesboro, they match up pretty even. A lot of times you get some mismatches with Jonesboro because of the size of the school and the number of kids that they got out on the roster and the number of fantastic athletes that are on that roster. But Conway can match up with them. Conway's the same type of school, and they run the same type of program down there. They're, historically a strong program in the state of Arkansas. So those two schools matched up pretty good. So I wasn't really surprised with the outcome of the game. This week, the game of the week is Catholic and Jonesboro. I look for Catholic to come in and bring a huge roster. They traditionally have some kids on the team that can play at the next level. But I really think that Jonesboro is going to have them outmatched with speed. I just don't think Catholic can match up with Jonesboro's speed across the board. I really think that Jonesboro is going to rebound this week, and wish those guys a lot of luck and good luck to Coach Coleman and them guys, and I think they'll put it back on the right track.
Big thanks to Larry Perrin for braving the weather, dodging Hurricane Irma, and getting with us this week. And we hope to get Larry out of Alabama soon and back here in the Tubetown studios.
And we were also able to catch up with Jonesboro head coach Randy Coleman this week. He talked about losing some key players from last year's squad and the disappointing loss last week to Conway and his team's preparation for this week's showdown with Catholic. So here is Jonesboro head football coach Randy Coleman.
Coach Coleman, you've been here a while. You haven't lost a lot of games.
Right.
It's even more uncommon for you to lose by the margin you did last week. How have your kids responded this week?
Well, it's early now. We need to see what happens throughout the week, but I think they'll respond. They responded in the second half. First half was just really flat. It's something we hadn't done in a long time. But second half, we had a little come to Jesus meeting at halftime, and second half came out and played really well.
You're getting a pretty good Catholic team, 3-0, with a win over a pretty good Bryant team last week. What do you see in them? What are the challenges?
Well, their running back, Sammy Johnson's probably the best player we're going to see all year. I mean, as a sophomore last year, he ran for 2,000, had 500 receiving yards. I want to say against us last year, he ran for 240. He is one of the more dynamic players you're going to see. So it's going to be a big test for us. We're going to have to tackle in space, and he's got really good balance and vision. It's going to be a good test for us.
What about defensively? What challenges for them?
Well, they do a lot of stunning, slanting, and blitzing. So, just recognizing early which way are they slanting to our H-back? Are they slanting to the field? Which backers coming consistently, if we can pick up any patterns and attack that. You're going to get basically cover 4 in the back end, so you're going to have to be patient, take the underneath throws. Which is typically a little bit different than what we do. We like to take shots downfield. So it'll test our patience a little bit.
One last thing. You guys were on the road last week. You were at Centennial Bank. So this is the first, you're in week 3, but the first time for you to get on your home turf. That's got to be exciting for you and for your kids.
No, it'll feel great to get out in Cooksey Johns and play a home game in front of our fans. And I think it'll give us a little added juice that we haven't had. Maybe definitely last week. In Centennial Bank Stadium, you're going to gain some excitement, some juice from that environment. On the road, we were a little flat last week, so it's going to be good to be home.
So a lot of production lost off of last year's team, but Catholic isn't going to show any sympathy after a 69-34 thumping at the hands of the Hurricanes in Little Rock last year. You heard Coach Coleman mention a kid by the name of Sammy Johnson. Johnson was the one bright spot for the Rockets in last year's game as he ran for 240 yards against Jonesboro. Better believe Coach Coleman and his Hurricanes will have an eye on Johnson this time around. The Tubetown cameras will also have a close eye on Johnson too. He wears number 1 for the purple and gold.
Now, some of the players to watch on the Jonesboro side of things are running back Jamarcus Bibbs and the two quarterbacks Coach Coleman will play, Tyson Williams and A.J. Aycock. Now, all of those guys are seniors, and they also have some muscle to get the job done on that front line. Senior left tackle Noah Gatlin, 6'7", 300 pounds, and is committed to Woo Pig Suey, Arkansas. Right tackle Darius Thomas is a 6'6", 300-pound junior, ranked as a top 10 offensive lineman in his class, and he's already drawing interest from all over the country. And on the defensive side, Jacarvis Anderson, 6'5", 260, defensive end with an offer from right here, Red Wolf Country, Arkansas State. The Rockets will definitely have their work cut out for them trying to slow down this Hurricane attack.
They will have their hands full. And from what I'm seeing, Hootens has Catholic actually favored in this game, Marcus?
Yeah, definitely. Talked to Bud Stropel, the voice of the Hurricane, a few minutes before we started recording here, and Bud informed me that Hootens Arkansas football actually has Catholic picked by 6 points, which when you consider they are a bigger school, it's not really that surprising. But then you look at the fact that they've got to come to Jonesboro and go on the road to be a 6-point favorite is a bit of a head scratcher.
Well, and also another head scratcher is we just read off the names of potential D1 athletes that Jonesboro have. They went to Little Rock last year and beat them 69-34. So where's that 34-point or 30-point difference coming from?
Well, you have to consider who Jonesboro lost. Jonathan Adams, who's now over at Arkansas State. And, you know, the plethora of seniors they had on that offense last year, it's a little scaled back from what it was dynamically last year. So I don't know if it's 30 points difference or not, but I think you could see a little closer of a score. But to go completely from a 30-point win to flipping it entirely and having Catholic as a 6-point favorite, I mean, that's a wow for me.
And you have to think now all eyes are on Sammy Johnson of Catholic. If he put up 240 last year, I'm guessing that had to have been at least half of their production, if not over half their production.
Oh, had to be. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, didn't get a chance to look at many highlights, but when Coach Coleman told me that he remembered him running for about 240, I mean, that's a number that sticks out in your head quite a bit.
And Coach Coleman wasn't taking this game lightly.
No, not at all. Not at all. When he spoke with us, he was talking about the fact that this is a big one. You know, they really schedule up when they go out of conference, and to get this right before they go into conference play would be huge for the Hurricane.
So yet another big game on Tubetown on the rivalry series, and two teams we have never seen. Haven't covered Jonesboro, haven't been to Cooksey Johns, haven't seen Catholic. So this is going to be a big surprise for us.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can get some big viewership to continue our streak of having great viewers along the line here. I kind of want to take it up another level this week. We've got a 7A and a 6A. Let's see if we can get 7A and 6A top viewership numbers.
And luckily, another great weather day. We've been really lucky the last several years doing live games with the weather.
Yes.
And so it's been a perfect Friday night this week. So talking about viewers real quick, over 7,000 views on YouTube and our Facebook pages in just 4 games.
Right. It's just awesome. I mean, that shows us that people are wanting to see what we're putting out there, and to have 7,000 views between our pregame and postgame and the actual live game itself, I can't say anything other than it's just awesome.
And folks, that does not even include the cable numbers in Arkansas, in East Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, Channel 21 Tubetown on Ritter Communications Cable, and Channel 11, which 3 of our first 4 games have been in Tennessee, right. Channel 11 on Ritter Communications Cable in West Tennessee. That doesn't even include those numbers. We don't know what they are.
Right.
But if the web viewership is any idea, those numbers got to be great too. Because we know Mumford, Covington, Brighton, Millington, all of our schools in West Tennessee love the coverage.
Absolutely, and they're taking it to heart when we say you got to tune in.
And so I think this is a great opportunity, again, to remind you, if you or anyone, any other business you know of might want to be a part of this, we're getting you in front of thousands of viewers.
Absolutely. It's perfect opportunity to get your name out there in a sports market that is unsaturated. We've got a little bit of an advantage over collegiate and even pro, because we do have some pro teams close by, the Grizzlies and the Redbirds, which go Redbirds, finish out the PCL. But in the high school market, it's very unsaturated. You can get your name out there right at the forefront.
So a little bit of a scheduling update. we're not going 12 straight weeks like we did last year.
Right,
We are
right.
actually we're going to be off 2 of the next 3 weeks, but we're going to be off next week, so no live game next week. Then we'll pick it back up the week after that and then be off the following week. So taking a little bit of break, cool things down, and recharge the batteries, but 10 hot rivalry series games on the schedule this year.
No doubt. I can't believe this is halfway point of our season. It's unbelievable. But, you see all the college teams and even the pro teams get an off week. We need an off week as well. So we'll take next week off and, go back and look at our game plan and everything like coaches do in off weeks and not necessarily restructure anything, but just get jived back up and ready to go for Brooklyn and Highland, which will be our first game when we come back on the 29th.
So all the ways to contact us. YouTube, Tubetown Online on YouTube, Tubetown Online on Facebook. Watch the games live on tubetownonline.com.
There you go.
Follow us at Twitter. On Twitter. Not at the Twitter, on the Twitter. On the Twitter at Tubetown.
And we've got, of course, we've got email, tubetown@rittercommunications.com. Or if you want to pick up the phone, if you're old school, pick up the phone and give us a call, 870-336-2318. You'll either get myself or Brandon.
So big thanks to Larry Perrin and National Scouting Report for sponsoring Prep Football tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. Big thanks to Randy Coleman for talking to us this week and giving us a little bit of insight and giving us a little bit more information than we typically get. And a little worried about Catholic, but it's going to all play out in Cooksey Johns Field.
There you go. And one more big shout out we got to give. We got a brand new sponsor on board this week, Rob Taylor, State Farm Insurance. Big shout out to those guys for coming on board with us for the rest of the Arkansas games throughout the season. Looking forward to having those guys aboard. You'll see them every time we run an instant replay. It's going to be the official Rob Taylor State Farm Insurance replay.
Not only that, he will be at the game.
Absolutely.
He'll be set up at the game so you can come meet Rob, talk to Rob about your insurance needs. And that's just part of the package you get by becoming a sponsor of the Tubetown Rivalry Series.
Absolutely. And Ritter Communications will have our tent there as well. As soon as you walk in the gate at Cooksey Johns, you're going to see Rob Taylor State Farm and you're going to see Ritter Communications right inside the gate. Can't miss us. Stop by. Let us know you've watched the pregame show on Facebook or on the cable system. Just let us know you're watching. We love to hear that kind of stuff.
And we want that list of sponsors to grow and come out and enjoy these games with us. We want to pack so many tents and canopies and booths out there that the school will say, hey, what are you doing here? This isn't the circus. You got to scale back,
Right.
But we'll keep making room.
Absolutely. We'll make room as long as we have to.
So great weather this Friday night. Catholic at Jonesboro. Do not miss it. Live Tubetown Rivalry Series. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game.
Let's do it.